And they are doing things. The Riverwalk is new and is improved, but it still seems like, gosh, it's underutilized when you go downtown. And
Well, right, because, I mean, you have more boats in one city than in anywhere in the world in St. Clair Shores. And we don't tap into that. I talk to people on a daily basis. I wish I could take my boat downtown.
yeah,
But where are you going to dock it and be safe?
right.
You're going to dock it 5 miles away and take a cab? Well, you might as well drive there. I mean, if you take, let's take the old railroad crossing that went into Canada once upon a time. They turned that into a bike walk. Okay. Well, I don't think too many people are walking down there and utilizing it.
And you know, I read about it a number of times, and I just haven't. I'm one of the ones that has not checked it out, and that's true. And I guess I don't want to speak to it because I don't know. Maybe people are using it,
Right.
You know, I just know I haven't, and I need to do that.
But I think if you, and it's about maybe a mile from the Renaissance Center.
Right.
I think you need to dig a 60-foot canal. There's plenty of property that you can be bulldozed if you even have to, because most of the houses are gone anyways. But you go in a mile and you dig a bay. Now what you're going to do there is you're going to bring in hotels, condominiums, homes, restaurants, businesses that want that prime real estate and that are willing to pay for it. Because think about it. You're going to have all these boats coming into the city of Detroit as soon as it's dug, as soon as it's done. And I think there's another revenue.
That's a very different idea that I had not heard before, but and obviously it would cost a significant sum. But but like you said, if it would provide jobs, and if you had an investor that said, okay, if I can develop this area, I'm willing to contribute this, you know, to that project. If they saw a positive outcome at the end, you know.
I'm thinking if you do the steps I'm talking about, and it's basically common sense. It's just opening up your mind and say, how do we fix the problem? Not how do we put a Band-Aid on it, not how do we cover it up and hopefully it goes away, but actually address the problems of the city of Detroit and the 13th District.
I know you've mentioned some of your background, but tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, well, like I said, I grew up in my dad's tool and die shop, and I'm a die maker, program manager. Currently, I'm a director of Midwest region sales for the United States Army I sell to, for Ace Electronics. The largest program I've held would be about $38 million, and I pulled profit out of it. We kept everything in the United States, too. I put it out to mom and pop shops, helped the economy in that aspect, and pulled the profit. We didn't have to go to Japan. We didn't have to go to Korea like a lot of these companies do. It's rebuilding the mom and pop shops and going back up that way from the ground.
Do you see that as a trend? Do you see that happening in and around our area, or not?
It's starting to, because so many businesses have gone under that there's only one way, and that's up right now.
Sure.
So I think that's you're starting to see that trend a little.
And do you see, and I know you have very intimate knowledge with this because you worked for a Japanese company, you went overseas a fair amount back and forth.
Right.
Are there some difficulties in doing business overseas that perhaps it just makes sense to bring that business back here? Because
they make it really easy to do.
They do?
They make it really easy and enticing to do work over
so
there.
it's just a matter
of... It's the trade laws. They have to be addressed.
Okay, because otherwise that trend will never, ever. Okay.
No, because they want to build their economy. And the only way they can build their economy is by dipping into our economy.
Sure, which is very, very enormous and very generous. And,
right.
And
everybody wants the U.S. economy.
Right.
And they're taking it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, for example, oil. $700 billion a year comes out of our economy, and we have it right here in the ground. But we do. I know it's controversial.
Understood.
And there's a lot of people that don't want us to get that oil.
Right.
But when the government tells you have to dig or drill in 5,000 feet, but we wanted to do it in 500 feet, who's to blame? Now, I know BP has blame all over it.
Yeah.
But so does the United States government. And I haven't seen an elected official or a person in the Department of Interior that has been fired yet. Have you?
No.
They don't talk about it. But they want to blame, hey, look, BP is to blame. There's no question. But when you build a house, how many inspectors are running through that house before they say you can move in?
Plenty.
Okay, we're talking about an oil rig.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of inspectors that were going through that. And somebody signed off on that. They just didn't happen. And that's the unfortunate part.
What do you think about you have this long history of the seat being held by a Democrat, if somebody was a betting man, they said, well, it's been 61 years Democratic, why wouldn't it continue to be that way? The odds seem long for a
Right.
Republican. Do you think that is, that this can be one of these flips? Because you do read nationally about changes in a long-time district, whether it be Republican or Democrat, that occasionally, boom,
Right, it
there's
flips.
a tipping point or there's a sea change.
And I really think we're there this
Okay.
year. I really do. We've been going, like I said, I don't have a primary challenge, but we've been out campaigning every day for the last 10 weeks. And what I hear from every voter that I speak to is they've been lied to long enough. They finally woken up and said enough's enough.
And you're getting out throughout the entire 13th, right?
Yes.
You're
Yes,
traveling
we're
around.
going to Lincoln Park all the way through the Grosse Points, probably on a daily basis. I mean, because the message needs to be put out there. They expect, the Democrats expect this district to go Democrat. Well, guess what? We're going to wake them up and show them that a person with common sense can take it back.
It's going to be an exciting next couple months.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly as we see who's going to be running, and who will be there at the end, and then we'll be watching closely, of course. And I
Yep,
know our
yep.
viewers will be, and voting, I'm sure. And we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, viewers. We'll see you again next week.